let's go through this, because this is only a PUP, so things can still change from PUPs. April update, build 100.14.1957.0. Game, fixed an issue where the game would sometimes report being out of memory for particles, fixed an issue where certain visual effects would incorrectly fly rapidly vertically off screen and are in rare cases result in a crash. That sounds hilarious. Having units be extremely close to buildings while throwing torches, for example, could result in the torch VFX flying off screen. That's hilarious. Fix a physics related crash where maps like Antalya cause an buffer overflow because they contain a huge number of separate cliff peaks. Okay, so that's just like cool little game break things that make the game break and visual updates, blah blah blah. This is the juicy stuff. The juicy stuff. This is what we came here for, boys. The balance updates. We're newbies. We're competitive players. We want the balance. General Conquistador Jesuits now inflict 1 area damage with range attacks. Siege damage increased to 14 from 9. Cost change to 80 food, 80 wood. Wow, so they're the units. They're Jesuits. That's the natives, right? They're kind of useless. They're kind of like a rubbish goon, right? But you can get them in H2. So they're kind of like a dragoon. But now that they've got 1 area damage in mass, they could be worth getting. It kind of reminds me, giving them that 1 area effect kind of makes it. What are the Swedish cav? The hacker pellets. So it's kind of like a hacker pellet, just without the melee attack. So that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Let's see if that's worth getting those units now. I know Spain have an H2 card, which can get Conquistadors depending on the amount of units you've lost, I think. So maybe that will be that. Maybe that's the reason behind the change as well, to make that card decent. Who knows? Drummer, House of Hanover, no longer affects artillery. Julian is going to be so happy because he was crying from the rooftop saying this shouldn't impact how quickly artillery fire. So, and I kind of agree. I think it was very, very good in Treaty. So yeah, you very rarely see them in Supremacy, but in Treaty it was too good. Light infantry corrected the damage multipliers against shock infantry for the following light infantry units. As own Royal Arc says, okay, so all random units. Okay, I guess they didn't have the negative multipliers. Maybe they have now. Red Sea Wagon can now build Lombards for the Italian civilization. Okay, cool, but Lombards are meh. Like they're cheap buildings. So Royal Hunter, House of Oldenburg. The military upgrade for the Royal Huntsman can now be trained in batches. Wow, that could change Royal Hunter being good. Because you can only build them one at a time, and it's really frustrating. But now that you can batch train them, nice. Reminds me of the French villagers when you could revolt to France. And then you can batch train the villagers. Maybe it's a bit like that. Royal Dragoon, House of Bourbon. Yeah, these things were bad, so let's see what changes here. Rate of fire improved to 2.5 from 2.75. Okay, nice. So what? That's a 10% increase. To reduce the delay of the setup animation. Yeah, that was the problem. They got bad animation. Range damage increased to 18 from 17.5. Okay, negligible. Line of sight corrected to 20, up from 18. Okay, so are they going to be good? No, but is that a buff in the right direction? Yes. I still make them when I go Ancient Regime with France. You know, they're still a decent dragoon, but they're just terrible by themselves compared to other units. Shipments corrected the arrival time of several shipments, including all battleship cards now arrive in 60 seconds, up from 40 seconds. Getting a battleship in 40 seconds is hilarious. By the way, all the new battleship cards are cool as fuck. I think that's one of the coolest updates. Is all the crazy. I love giving the European civs battleships, but unique battleships now. I think this is so cool. I think that's so cool, I have to say. I haven't tried all of them yet, but I've tried a few of them, and yeah, I love it. I think the Dutch one is the one that explodes, right? It damages everything when it explodes. Fucking hilarious, man. It hits land units and all sorts. The mercenary contractor politician into Imperial now increases the attack and hit points of outlaws by 50% as expected. Did it not do that? Zapatec Lightning Warrior corrected an issue resulting in units obtained from some cards to have more hit points than available at Zapatec. Okay, interesting. That might impact. That might impact Inca. I think it's Inca that get lots of Zapatec, cards. Probably less funny on land maps. Probably less funny on land maps. Civilizations. Aztecs. Eagle Scout. Fixed an issue causing the Imperial Age upgrade to be applied to Eagle Scouts in the Industrial Age. Okay. Town Centre Big Buttons. Lowered the cost of big buttons in the town centre to be in accordance with the new cost of the Jaguar Prow Knight. Okay. Is that going to make them less or more? I don't know. I can't remember if Jaguar Prows got increased or not. Dutch States Army 3 now also makes infinite mercenary cards arrive faster. That's interesting. Is Dutch States Army, I think that's the one that gives you Highlanders, right? And the Age 4 cab. The biggest problem with this is I strictly see this as a team card. It's a very good team card, but I don't see it as a good 1v1 card. The biggest problem is it's an Age 3 card, so you just it doesn't give you anything. It only allows you to make stuff, so you just lack tempo doing this. So that's the biggest problem with the Dutch States Army. It's but in team games you don't need tempo. You need, well, you do, but you need it's all about eco and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the biggest problem with that. Buck Riders, cost reduced to. I'm glad that 500 coins seemed like such a steep. It felt like such a heavy coin cost. So I think 250 is much better. That could definitely make that more viable. It's still 250 coin to get Buck Riders. I think it gives you a couple. I can't remember if it gives you any and allows you to build them. But it could be good for extended Age 2 play. Ethiopians, Italian firearms now affects the Sebastopol mortar as intended. Stranger's Quarters 4 is now set to active by default in post-imperial games. I don't know what that is. All I do know is that Ethiopia are stronger. Germans, Prince Electors, fixed an issue with the Oldenburg Royal Hunter costing no population slot. Interesting. Fixed an issue with missing unit upgrades that occurred when also being allied to German royal houses. I'll have to check that out. Does that mean, is that saying that there was texts that were missed? Oh no, unit upgrades that occurred when also being allied to German. Okay, no, just unit. No text then, because it doesn't really give you text. I don't think that card. It just gives you the ability to make units from a certain house. Allying to the same royal house on the map and in the native embassy will now increase the unit build limit. Cool. You can make more of a certain unit. I like that. Haudenosaunee, Aena now shoot arrows faster the closer the target is, and range attacks benefit from target lock. Oh, that's interesting. I mean, let's be honest. Aena have been one of the worst units in the game. Well, not the worst units in the game. They're not terrible, but they're the worst of the sort of crossbow type units because their starting animation is so bad. So I like that. So when you start shooting, it's not going to make much difference probably, but the closer it gets to a target, the animation's fires faster. So yeah, that's cool. That's a nice upgrade. They haven't just given them another animation or something. They've done something weird but wonderful. Free Renegade French Renegade now sends 8 gendarmes up from 5. Wow. What? That's a big improvement. That is a big improvement. It gives you 8. How much does it cost? How much does that cost? Is it like 1k gold? 8 Renegade Dutch, 11 Renegade Dutch. What's that? Now sends 20 Stadwich Halberdiers up from 11. But cost increased to 1500 coin. Is that one of the mercenary cards? It's 1k coin, the Renegade French. Interesting. Oh, so it's been moved. Is that what it's saying? It's now been moved to Age 4 as opposed to Age 3. Yeah, the 500 coin one is Age 3 for 5. So it's going to be 500 coin for 8. I don't know if that's good or bad or just a bit of a change. I think Haudenosaunee, they play in all ages. It's good if you're doing the FI, but YouTube comment. Yeah, I don't know. Some of the guys in chat who play that more, play Howden Shoney more than me. Let me know what you think. 22 Lenape allies now arrives in 60 seconds, up from 40 seconds. I've seen that card used. It's scary. That card is scary. North America trade moved to age 3. I don't know what that does. Covenant chain 4 cost reduced to 2k from 3k, but now sends 4 Irish Brigadiers down from 8, 4 Highlanders, 3 Harks, and 2 heavy cannons. No changes. The card is now infinite. You don't see that very often, but are we going to see that now that it's 2k coin? It sends 2 heavy cannons along with a load of anti-cav. Coming good, coming good. Hauser, Fulani Archer, damage multiplier versus heavy infantry increase. You're giving Hauser Kim Bus. Stranger Quarters is now set to active by default in post-Imperial games. Okay. The other Africa Civ had that, Ethiopia, so I guess it's Africa Civ. What? The Africa Civs are getting small buffs. Why? Inca. Canter House, hit points decrease from 1600 from 2000. That's big! And cost to 700. Okay, so it costs 10 wood less, but there's 400 HP less. That's quite huge, not gonna lie. I feel like not enough people rush Inca. I feel like most civs should rush Inca, and if you're gonna do that, that's definitely gonna help. It's also gonna improve trying to damage. The biggest problem with Inca is that they got that age 2 card, Monumental Architecture, which increases all the HP and damage of buildings. And even cancer houses have ridiculous HP, and you can't damage their eco. So I guess that might be a change. That's the reason behind the change. Free for all line read. FXA line read. Oh, hit points decreased to, yeah, so it's decreased and costs to 170 wood. Oh wow! So I was literally. Is that what you're talking about? So Monumental Architecture moved to age 3. God, praise the Lord! Holy Jesus! Osteo is going to be crying into his little panties tonight. Holy moly! I think that's such a good change because it's a great card. It's such a good card. You can argue it should be an age 4 card, but I wouldn't want to nerf it that hard. But it's such a good card, and now it's been moved to age 3. I think that's great. They can't just run around now in age 2. So yeah, move cam. Good shout. There you go. There you go, Prince. Where are we? Royal Festival, big button. This big button delivering 1 maceman per 4 minutes of the game time now costs 250 of each resource, down from something 400 with 500 coin. Okay, wow, that's a big buff. You very rarely see that though. Supe ceremony, maceman spawn time reduced by roughly 30%. What? So is this trying? Are they trying to make it similar to? Aztecs, right, can do the Skull Knight ceremony, right? So they produce Skull Knights. Are they trying to be able to do the same thing with Maceman? So you can do. There might be an FI Maceman strat with them now. 30% is quite big. It's quite big. India, ASAP, Ottoman Consulate improved the rendering speed of the ASAP visuals. Interesting. Is that because that might have something to do with why sometimes spawning them could result in like the game bugging out? I presume that's why they've done that. Dravidian martial arts, Dravidian, whatever. Fix an error that granted sepoys plus 5% melee damage in the volley stance. Okay. Italians, here we go. Nerf them. Architect, hit points reduced to 225. Good. They were way too tanky. Initial build limit reduced to 2 from 5. Initial build limit reduced to 2 from 5, and now increases +1 at every age up. This is like a large part of the community were talking, and this is a really good agreement that lots of high level players and other players as well suggested this. So they've taken this completely on board, which is great because I think that's a really good change. I think it's a really good change. Now builds outposts in 170 seconds, up from 150. Good. Another great change, and this is brilliant. Town centers in 270. Yes, good. up from 250. Small nerfs, but they add up. And walls in 12 seconds, up from 10. Great changes. The biggest problem with Italy, right, guys, the biggest problem with Italy was that they were unrushable. They're unrushable. You can spam, because you can spam architects in age 2. As soon as you age up, you spam architects. And if you get rushed, you can just build outposts, and you can get You can get, like, I've seen people get 4 or 5 outposts, and they're like ridiculous, like 6 minutes. You know, it's ridiculous. And so you just can't rush them. Lombards go up way too quickly. You know, TCs go up way too quickly. So now you can only get 2 architects in age 2. It means you can be rushed, but what it's going to do, it's going to slow Italy's FI down, because you're going to, the Italy player is going to be forced to make units now, guys. So yes, Italy are still going to be strong. I hope they're not S++ tier, because I feel like they're now going to go back to how they kind of were before the last patch, before the whole architect meta was found. I feel like they're going to go back to prior to that. So Italy are going to be basically a musketeer semi-civilization. So yeah, but that's cool, right? Age up gives +1 from starting 2. Initial build limit reduced to 2 from 5, and now increases by +1 every age. So you can get free. Is that what it's saying? You can get free, but outposts and TCs take longer to build, guys, and walls. Reduced to 2, not reduced by 2. 2 and then per age, yeah. So 2, 3, 4, yeah. Yeah, so age 1 you can get 2, age 2 you can get 3, age 3 you can get 4, etc, etc. But yeah, that's good. That's gonna slow them down. That's really gonna slow them down, honestly. So I think Italy are still gonna be at near the top, but that's gonna slow them down. Guys, make units versus Italy. Make units versus Italy now, okay? Force them to make a barracks and make musketeers, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. So yeah, great changes, great changes. It sounds like a good nerf, but it's not gonna stop Italy being competitive, very competitive. They might still be near the top, but they'll still be competitive regardless. So yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm really happy with that. Lakota, North America trade moved to age 3. Okay, that's the buff. Mexicans, Barbacoa, age 1, now correctly causes all livestock to fatten more quickly when gathering from a hacienda. Okay. Coach guns in Baja Revolution now ships 3 banditos and 3 cuatreros instead of renegados and command. That was a terrible card. If anyone doesn't know, I believe coach guns, it makes your native TPs have like a shotgun type attack, and it quite quickly, you know, builds up, so it's quite a strong attack. But other than that, it was terrible, and you know, it wasn't a good card. So I think they're now basically giving you units on top of this, so it's probably good to send this every single time. This sounds really good. This sounds really good. So I'm going to definitely be trying that, because there are a couple of Baja Revolutions strategies which are very strong, particularly the one that times the game down if you've got enough natives. So yeah, that could be really good for that strategy. I like that. I'll definitely be giving that a go. No doubt A's will be as well. Coach gun was pretty awful, yeah. Baja. Sorry, am I pronouncing it wrong? Apologies to all my Mexican brothers out there. Plan of Miramare, age 4, now also increases bandito range by 2 as intended. Okay, interesting. I'll have to give that a go. Cool. Okay, so a couple of different Mexico changes. It's not really going to change Mexico too much, but that coach guns is a cool, nice change. Ottoman. AZAP improved the default attack animation. Okay, good, because AZAPs have a terrible startup animation. Capiculu Corpse. Oh yes, please tell me these have changed. Palace Intrigue. Cost increased to 2,000 food, up from 1,400, but now also delivers 5 Spahi, up from 4. I think they've kind of tried nerfing it, but I think you've kind of buffed it, guys. AZAP animation is so good now. Just tested. That's cool, Kevin. They need good animation. Like, if you want people to make AZAPs, give them a good animation. Simple as that. Give them a good animation. The thing is though, it's a shadow buff for India. That's the only thing I don't like about it, Kevin. It's a shadow buff for India. But yeah, more auto buffs. Yeah, so ASAPs have been buffed, but that's not going to change the meta. But this has kind of been buffed, but it might slow it down a bit more, which I guess is good. But again, it's one extra Spahi. Matrakai School, replace the placeholder icon with the correct one. Okay, so Otto's still very good. Are we going to have Ottoman going to be the best Civ in the game right now? Are Otto the best Civ in the game right now? Possibly. Portugal starting crates now starts the game with plus 50 food. Okay, I feel Portugal are like A tier. I think Portugal are like in a good spot at the moment. That might make the plus the 10-10 pretty damn good. Constable now affects Lenaros instead of Dragoon combat. Is that what are Lenaros? Is that one of the revolt goons or something? I don't know. I don't know what that is. Spanish. Viceroyalty of New Spain. Oh, okay, here we go. This is what everyone's been crying about, and rightly so. Soldados are now balanced with regular combat values, minus 10%. So they're basically normal soldados with minus 10%. That's quite bad. And need to be updated manually to guard an Imperial in the Hacienda. Good. So, yeah, those... We just did a game with it, and the soldados are way too good, man. It's fun, so fun, but they were too strong. They were so strong. They were nerfed by minus 3 seconds last patch, minus 10% because they're no longer consulate soldados. Yeah, cool. That was it. That was it. So they're no longer consulate type units. That's good. That's perfect. So they're basically normal soldados. But reading this tells me that in age 3, they're still going to be veteran soldados. So correct me if I'm wrong, Vividly, but they're basically, when you get to age 3, they're going to be veteran soldados, right? Soldaddies. So they're still going to be good. And like what I did that game, I stayed in age 3 and did it. So they'll be veteran. But the reason why they were too good was because people were going to industrial and they were basically spamming that, and they could just have essentially guard soldados for free. Yeah, so for the fast fortress it's only a little nerf, but the industrial is a huge nerf. It still feels like it's going to be quite viable. I still feel like it's definitely something. So Mayasetti, if you're listening, don't worry, you're just going to have to gather a few more resources to get the upgrade. All right, boy? All right? We good? We good? Cool. But I'm definitely still going to be doing it. I have so much fun doing it. I know it's toxic as fuck, but that's probably why I like it so much. No, the Mexico Revolution continues to automatically research guard soldados. Spanish Square. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Spanish Square, age 4, corrected an issue that allowed sending this card a second time in the Imperial Age. So when you get to Mexico, because the Mexico Revolution is terrible, but can you get guard soldados? I mean, it doesn't really matter because all your units don't turn, they're not villagers anymore. So it's honestly, the Mexico Revolution is just terrible. It's so dogshit terrible. Sweden. Treaty of Roskilde. Cost increased to 1,700 food from 1,500. That's interesting. That's the halberdiers. You've seen it a few times. Maybe maybe at lower elos, like medium to lower elos, people are doing it and it's having too much success. Maybe that's why they've nerfed it. Because it's not great. If you it is as she said. If you all you have to do with this strategy, if you scout the church and you see the church card in someone's deck, then assume they're doing this, right, and just make units, all right? That can counter halberdiers. But, you know, it can catch you off guard if you don't. But that's part of being good, you know, and learning how to scout. But, you know, it's not something I do, so I'm not really particularly fussed, but it's just interesting to talk about why that change has come. United States, right, I'm praying. Give me some buffs, boy. Give me some buffs. Dutch immigrants, cost reduced to 300 coin from 350. Okay. Am I still going to use Dutch immigrants? Probably not. French immigrants, cost reduced to 225.
I mean, I'll take it. I'll take it. You know, I'm a French immigrant enjoyer, so I'll take it. I'll take any buff I can get. This is 25 wood.
Oklahoma Black Mesa. Cost reduced to 200 wood from... So what's the Oklahoma Black Mesa? Someone was talking about it earlier. Is that to do with the coal mines?
Yeah, minus 25 wood. Tempo. Yeah, I mean, tempo is tempo. Is this going to change United States' place on the tier list? No. No, it is not. But it's a step in the right direction, you know. I'll still be playing USA, even though they're trash. It's the mine age 3, I believe, with some pistolero, something like that. Oh, it'd probably be a Callan build then, or something like that. So yeah, cool. They're the changes, guys. They are the changes. All in all, 99% of these changes feel really great. Nothing has been massively nerfed. Nothing has been massively buffed. It seems like some small things have been nerfed and some small things have been buffed, and they've all been in the right direction. I think this is a great PUP. It seems like a great PUP. Can't really see anything which is bad here.